Dreamcon sucked.
Well, I wouldn't say all that.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Fireplays. And yes, we went to Dreamcon for the very first time, and we had a time, for the most part, we experienced some things. Like, is that a very
Yeah.
vague statement? It sure is. It's not quite what we expected, and that is actually in a bad way. We do mean that in actually a bad way, because technically speaking, amongst all the conventions that we've been to, this is the worst convention that we've been to compared to others. So that answer is complicated, but at the same time, there are some compliments in there too. So that's really what we're going to be talking about. We're here to basically talk about our experience, and hopefully our experience will help you guys figure out if you want to go to DreamCon in the future, and ultimately answer the question: is DreamCon worth it? From a perspective of, is DreamCon worth it? You do have to think about, like, what specifically were you there for? And for us, it was about learning and experiencing, meeting people, whether if you were a content creator or not, networking, and just being able to show who we are. You know what I'm saying? Show who we are and learn. The easy answer is to say that yes, we did do that, but the long answer,
It came with its own
it came with some
with its own
complications.
hurdle. It came
Yeah.
we did that in spite of the convention, not you know, there's some things that the convention didn't help with that aspect of.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So some things that we did before the actual convention is, we, for one, as content creators, we wanted to basically put our best foot forward. So there were things that we kind of planned to do in advance. And one of the biggest things was we applied to the YouTube Creator Lounge. They had like so this was different from like TwitchCon, where they have passes that you can, basically buy to get into like the content creator portion of TwitchCon. With this one, you had to actually apply, so it wasn't like a pay to get in type situation. You had to apply, supply of the convention with information, and if you got approved, you had access to the YouTube Creator Lounge. Now, this process in and of itself, not quite smooth whatsoever.
This is where the disorganization started.
Yeah.
We bought our DreamCon tickets pretty early on.
We did. Yeah.
Like, it was like early April.
Mm-hmm.
And also during that time, we applied for the Creator Lounge.
Yeah.
They didn't get back to us until a day or two before the con.
Yep.
And we had to reapply for it.
Yep. After we already applied for it, which the way in which they did it was wild, because they basically said, so many people applied for this. You know what? We're going to start over. Everyone reapply for this. So that in and of itself was just like,
that is not the way to do anything.
That was already the calling card of like things getting weird. So there also were some RSVPs that had to be done before you had to go to the convention, and this was happening like before we even got our tickets. Like, there were RSVPs for events and things that were happening at the convention back in like February, where people had to RSVP for events. This is something that we did not know about until like way later after the fact. So if there are events, specific events that you want to be a part of, not like just watching from the sidelines, you're going to have to RSVP for it like months in advance. Potentially even before the tickets are available, you'll have to like RSVP, which that equally, kind of a bad, that's a bad system in my opinion.
and the entire RSVP system in general.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't through the Dreamcon app. It wasn't through the Dreamcon website.
Yeah.
You had to go through
like a third party.
Third party ticket system.
Yeah.
Which also, that was another thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't get your tickets directly from the app or the website either.
Yeah.
Had to go through this whole third party ticket system, which took you to another like RSVP system.
Yeah.
And it was just completely different systems all the way down. And that just that whole process was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite frankly.
So the app had like maybe one or two actual good uses for, but most of the rest of it was not good. It was not a smooth process most of the time. Like, you get consistent not consistent. Most of the time you get constant updates on classes and workshops and events that will literally change details and where they are, like, day of, you know what I'm saying? So
literally at the convention.
Like,
you could be on your way to whatever workshop you're going to.
Yeah.
And during that time, it's like, actually, this is happening at the end of the day in a different room.
Yeah.
And
like, what's the point of even creating an itinerary if everything's gonna change? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot. But let's start off. Let's start off with our first day. So ground zero, we just landed in. You know what I'm saying? And we are here, y'all. I don't know where D is yet. I think he has a whole like hour left to get here, but we out in Texasistan. I got to the airport, and I was actually looking for D. Wait, I was actually looking for D. There it is. I was actually looking for D at the airport, and it took a minute to find him, but you know, like the Eustace system, you know what I'm saying, it was decent enough, you know.
That's a giant airport.
Yeah, that airport is huge. But you know, luckily we were able to find each other. You know what I'm saying? That little transit system was pretty useful. We got there, and we took an Uber to the hotel. You know what I'm saying? The hotel, you know, all in all, like the room and everything was decent. You know what I'm saying? Like no real issues there. We had like a bed and a couch. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much, and honestly, that's all we needed. You know, that's all you need. We ain't need nothing fancy. Once we settled into the hotel, we got to head straight to the convention. And when we got to the convention, we tried to get our tickets. But the thing is that, like, even finding where to get your
oh my god
your Dreamcon tickets was crazy. Like, we were asking people on the street, some people who probably had nothing to do with Dreamcon. We was like, hey, do you know where to get tickets? They're like, I don't know. Who is you? Who is this? What is that? You know,
the tickets weren't at the convention.
Yeah, the tickets weren't at the conventions. They were at like the Marriott hotel that was like across the street. Like, so we had to find that. We had to stand in line. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole bunch of people, but you know, at the end of the day, we got a ticket. Great. After that, they actually had like this little super small like buffet with like these little hors d'oeuvres that we got to get in line for.
Very good.
They were very good, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I saw that, I was like, all right, maybe they might actually be serving food like throughout the convention. I was very hopeful of them doing that. That was
absolutely
just like,
not.
yeah, absolutely not.
But
I
knew what it was.
You know, you knew what it was, and I didn't. But I was hopeful, and it did look it did look good. It tasted good too. But look, they serving dumplings and whatever that is, kimbap.
I don't think we're gonna get any of them.
We gonna get some. After we had, you know, our little hors d'oeuvres and stuff, we left out, and we tried to link up with some people that we were messaging on the app. We were messaging a couple of folks, just figuring out like what was the move, you know what I'm saying? What was the move for Thursday? What was everybody doing? And you know, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of people had a whole bunch of different plans. But the group that we linked up with was going bowling at this place called 810 Billiards and Bowling, I think that's what it's called. And that was so fun, y'all. We had such a blast.
That was one of the biggest highlights of Dreamcon.
Yeah, was not being a Dreamcon. Yeah, we like it was so fun getting to link up with some people. Like some people were content creators, most weren't. You know, for the most part, we got to just like hang out with them. You know, we did some bowling, we shot some pool. We were like doing those at the same time too. Yeah. We would go bowling and then we do pool while like someone else was bowling, and then we go straight back and just like keep crossing paths. We played Jenga. Like that was super duper fun.
Yeah. You got that. That looks good from the other side. It's what you think it is. It ain't. This side. It ain't what you heard, it's what you hearing. Come on, bro. You got it. Woo!
Yes, sir. After bowling, we got dinner at this place called Thai Tail. And oh my God, it was
y'all in Houston?
Good. Yeah.
Check them out.
Yeah. Houston, y'all got y'all Thai food. Somehow Houston knows how to make some good ass Thai food.
Oh yeah.
A little goes a long way. But are you ready to go a long way?
Go a long way. Go with it.
Cut it off there.
He turned the faucet off? Oh, yeah, first bite.
Oh, that steam came out.
That steam is coming out. Oh, it's dripping. Too much sauce. Yeah.
That's
certified?
Very good.
After that, we went to, and this, I mean, I don't know what time this was. This was about maybe like 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. We went to an R&B spot that was maybe about 20-ish minutes away. And we danced our asses off. But I will also say, first off, jam-packed, way too many people. It was like a little outdoor bar. But like, though the music was decent, I honestly just think it wasn't that great. I don't think the overall vibe was not. Nothing. Yeah, people weren't doing nothing. Most people were standing around.
It cost to get in. It was not worth it.
It was not worth it. Well, I'll say this much: if you're there to like dance, don't go. You know, if you're there to dance, don't go. If you're one of the people that actually likes to like stand in the middle of a dance floor and just sweat, you know, and talk to you know, if you like to dance if you just like to stand in the middle of a dance floor and sweat and barely be able to hear the person next to you, sure, that's exactly where you need to be at. But otherwise, skip it, you know.
Thursday night is done, y'all. It's like 2 a.m.
Long day, long night.
Yeah.
Long morning.
Yeah. Long day, long night, long morning. But we are tired as hell. But it was so fun, bro.
Yeah.
This was like we haven't even seen all that TwitchCon. Dreamcon. We haven't gotten to even see all that.
Seen any Dreamcon.
This is pre-Dreamcon, and we've already gotten to do so much. I am so excited for
the actual Dreamcon.
For the actual Dreamcon.
A few hours.
Yeah. So we'll see y'all in the morning. Or after the end of this video, because y'all ain't seeing this right this moment. Whatever. Man, you know.
Tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. It's Thursday. It's not Thursday. It's Friday. Show right. Yeah, it's time to get some of that sweat equity. What's sweat
We woke up and went to the gym, which low key was kind of a mistake. Based off of like our itinerary and what we had going on, but we was like, we feel good this morning. So we decided to go to the gym. Get a good pump in. I worked some shoulders and I forgot what you worked on. I think you did like shoulders and
your bicep shoulders.
Yeah. After that, we ate breakfast, with their local continental breakfast. Probably the worst continental breakfast I've had at a hotel.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. That breakfast, like if there was like best to worst, like Thai Town being the absolute best of the food that we got to eat, continental breakfast was personally my most hated food.
What you think of this breakfast, Steve?
I think it's free.
It's funny that you think it's free, but we may actually pay for this later.
We did technically pay for it.
Yeah.
I think it's complimentary.
It tastes complimentary.
Nothing was seasoned, If there was seasoning, it came in them hot sauce packets. They had hot sauce packets. At least they had that, Eggs and potatoes was just bland. Yeah, eggs. That unfortunately that needs quotations. Pretty much once we finished our breakfast, we came back upstairs and started getting into our first costumes, which there was a bit of a reveal. I think like at one point I went in the bathroom, came back out, and I just saw D, and I was like,
And we have begun.
Yep.
Friday has begun.
All my glory.
Yep. We had a couple of hours to chill. I went down to finally get the package because it almost did not show up on time.
Literally down to the wire.
It was down to the wire, but it just came in. You see D. You see D in that. You see this. You can kind of see where we're going with this.
Is this your key card or mine?
I think that's yours. Mine's in my wallet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
We're getting ready. We'll be there. We ain't always there when you call, and we ain't always on time.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Which ultimately we got to, for the first outfit, we got to dress up as Courage the Cowardly Dog characters. I was Eustace, D was Muriel, and like the little thing that we were waiting for was that Courage plush to come in. Literally came in like a second before we were about to head out in our second outfits. Yep, that's Courage. Looks very strange digitally for some reason. He looked weird. But yep, so we got to dress up in our Courage the Cowardly Dog attire. And it was quite a hit at DreamCon, you know what I'm saying?
A crazy hit.
Go Eustace, go Eustace, go Eustace, go Eustace, go Eustace, hey, go Eustace, go Eustace, go Eustace, go, 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 go Eustace, go, 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 go. Stupid dog, stupid dog, hey, stupid dog, stupid dog, stupid dog, hey, stupid dog, hey, stupid.
Most of that day we spent dancing, which is why I said earlier that like we were going to regret going to the gym because we went
to all the dance workshops.
All the dance workshops. We went to the first dance workshop we went to was about like gaming. It was like gaming music or dancing to gaming music. And the dance by itself was
fire.
Yeah, the dance by itself was fire. Another dance workshop we did was for line dancing. Not quite so like complicated, you know what I'm saying? Not like any complicated steps, but it was such a vibe though. I mean, it was all just like family reunion music, you know? Like it was all like just family reunion music and just a whole bunch of different type of like shuffles and like line dancing.
Yeah.
That was so
That was fun.
Outside of the dance workshops, again, we got accepted into the YouTube Creator Lounge.
You're at
That same thing. Except it doesn't
Yep, it's the YouTube Creator Lounge. Look at all the things they have. That's extra Emily right there. I don't watch her stuff, but I know she's a good. I mean, yeah, I just know her by the name. But she dope. She dope. Shout out to Extra Emily.
What did she teach?
She teach she was supposed to teach science. She was supposed to teach science.
And so,
oh, we got Broly up there. That is so cool. That's so cool. The huge Dragon Ball. That's sick.
Who doesn't know what happened to things easy?
But yeah, this is the Creator Lounge with a bunch of creators. We are going to try to see what else we can get into, though, so we'll be back.
With the YouTube Creator Lounge, it was actually like a really nice lounge with, a couple of decent, like, attractions in there. You know what I'm saying? They had a little green screen booth where you could, like, take pictures in, and, you'd be in, like, this little cockpit area. They had I guess it's kind of like a glam cam, where there's like this like really nice kind of YouTube setup background and you could take pictures there. I low-key thought that those were going to be like that, like you were going to have somebody who could professionally take your pictures. You know what I'm saying? But it was actually just a place where you yourself, like you had like a little phone holder area. You could just take pictures over with your own phone. I mean, all in all, the YouTube Creator Lounge was decent. But like by comparison,
it also left a lot to be desired.
They left a lot to be desired. I was expecting more interactive things where like content creators can actively do things with each other. VidCon had like special events, like specific events that you could do at that YouTube Creator Lounge, where you were actively interacting and competing and even collabing with other content creators, some of which you would not know otherwise who they were, that would actually invoke collaboration and networking. This one kind of not so much, so left some to be desired, but for what it is, for what it's worth, it was decent enough. Another thing that was happening on that day was quote unquote meetups. There were these meetups that were happening on the second floor of the convention. And what we thought meetups meant, was that you got to
compare that to TwitchCon again.
Right. Comparing it to TwitchCon was that you got to go to an area, and share common interests based off of like the specifics of that meetup. Saying, whether if it was about like a game that y'all play or an anime that everybody enjoys. You all got to meet up, talk about the anime, and potentially network.
Yeah.
But these meetups that were happening on the second floor were not that.
We didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't find because there's no room for it.
Right. There's no room. It's just
people out in the open.
People out in the open.
That could be anything.
Yeah. And I mean, call it like our own preference or our own snottiness of wanting it to be something better. But like what we saw during the meetups, basically everybody was like standing in this big ass bundle, this big ass mosh pit, and like taking pictures of each other in cosplay. And that's it. I didn't hear anything about like, oh, you know, we all got to link up and exchange information and follow each other on IG. Like, I didn't hear anybody, you know what I'm saying, doing any type of like networking or even really talking about.
I mean, even talking,
even talking much. Most of the time, like, cause we, you know, we weren't, cause they would have meetups about like, Marvel characters or DC characters or Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. But if you weren't dressed up in those genres, it's as if you didn't belong there, you know? That's kind of what it felt like. And like, and again, most of the time, everybody just like linked up in those meetups and just took pictures behind like a backdrop of DreamCon. And you're like, okay, great. You know, I mean, if it floats your boat, it floats your boat. And I'm not yucking anybody's yum. It's just, that's not what we were expecting, personally. Another kind of cool thing that was happening was called Wrestle War, where they actually had a whole ring set up throughout the entire convention. Like, they'd have matches thrown, but they also had segments where, which this was something that we did not know. Like, someone had to tell us, but there was actually opportunities where you could go in the ring and learn some very basic movements in the ring, learning how to take bumps, learning how to like Irish whip, you know, like all of those different things. And it was actually really cool to kind of see some of that.
Yeah! Get in there! Okay, you want to turn all the way around. Come on, get in there! Yeah, he going hit first, he gonna hurt himself doing that.
Yeah.
You want to go full back.
Yeah. You know, if I was a promoter, I'd leave by now. Wow. That's horrible. I don't mean it.
Another thing was the exhibit hall. So, you know, so the thing is that we actually didn't spend a crazy amount of time in the exhibit hall. Like, vast majority of the time was spent on us, you know, kind of being on that third floor, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do workshops.
Trying.
You know? Yeah, trying to do workshops, trying to learn, trying to network, and, you know, obviously being in that YouTube creator lounge. But, you know, there were a lot of opportunities to, you know, also just like be a part of other people's things, you know, like other people who are like filming things. You know, there's a lot of booths down there too. So, you know, we tried to, you know, spend a little bit of time in the exhibit hall. And, excuse me. One of the things that we actually did enjoy doing was we got to fight in this like balloon pit. Yeah, we got to fight in this balloon pit.
By the U.S. Navy.
By the U.S. or it was the Navy or Air Force, one of those. And and like, I mean,
wait, no, actually it could have been Air Force.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those. But I think the cool thing about it was that they got to see that, like, everybody else got to see Eustace and Muriel fight. That was so funny to watch.
Waiver? Perfect.
Needless to say, I don't think there really was much of a winner or a loser in that, because like we both fell off.
So.
So, let's talk about one of the worst things that that we had to deal with for DreamCon, or especially for day one, was the after party line. So, again, because the after party is not directly connected to your badge, we had to stand in line, in this huge ass line to get our tickets.
It's like mad line.
This is a line to get the after party tickets.
What you mean?
What the fuck? What the fuck? Wow. Come at the last minute.
No bullshit.
Which was hell.
Yeah, we stayed in that line for over an hour, probably like about an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
Standing in that line. I mean, I ain't even gonna go into all the details of how there was a whole premium line that just randomly opened up. There were people.
Yeah, there were lines like merging and then breaking and then.
Yeah, there was lines merging and breaking.
It was the most disorganized lining I've ever
disorganized.
Hey guys, we're enjoying ourselves except for the fucking lines.
Don't even.
Yeah.
Shit.
Y'all,
we was in line for over an hour.
Over an hour. We were supposed to go to a whole other different workshop thing, but this after party wristband pickup, ass soup. We were there for like over an hour, waiting for our tickets, bro. Waiting to get up to the front. So disorganized. I mean, I know we coming off a little hot right now, but
because we are.
This because we are. It's because we are, bro. Yeah. So,
but long story short, after we got our tickets or after we got our wristband, we were low key kind of zapped on energy because like that just really just like all of our hypeness and happiness to be there, the energy we got from like vibing with other people, dancing and stuff was just zapped. So we decided to go get some food. There was a couple of areas that we tried to go to, but we ended up going to like this club area. You know what I'm saying? Got like a,
which was pretty good.
It was pretty good, you know what I'm saying? We got like a pretty, small little meal. And we came back, went to the after party, which and again, this is why this system is so dumb. We went to the after party, and once we got to the actual doors of the after party, there was a way smaller, quicker line for the people who didn't go, earlier and get their wristband.
That's the sauce for y'all.
Yeah.
Because I did this the second day because the line was just as bad. They learned nothing from the first day.
Yeah.
And like that day, I was like, I'm just leaving. Like Greg was able to get his.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm just leaving. If I don't even get into the party, I'll take my ass back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And you know what? That's another thing.
Once you get to the party, you can just walk up and get your
ticket,
your wristband. No issue.
Yeah, you don't even need to worry about you don't even need to worry about a long line because people just walking up and getting it easy. But also, you do not have to get after party tickets. Like there were tons and tons of events that people were posting in the interact portion of the app where you could find a whole bunch of different
so much to do.
Yeah, a whole bunch of like non-Dreamcon related parties that were going on, which more likely than not were where a lot of the bigger content creators were. I will also say there are a lot of there's just a lot of D riders, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about D.
Yeah, people chasing.
Like, people who are chasing Dennis, chasing
big creators.
Chasing all these just big time content creators. And most of the time, those parties were the ones that were like extremely overpriced, like in the hundreds and $150 to get into a club, for like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, just so you can see Duke Dennis from
not even see Duke Dennis. You see you see his bodyguard. You'll see like his bodyguard standing there right in front of him, while he vibing with some girls, But long story short, though,
that's something that you want to do. That's an option.
Do what you want to do. I'm just saying that you don't have to go to those parties. You don't have to go to the after party. There are a lot of things that you could do.
There's so many things to do.
Yeah.
And people are super open.
Yeah.
To just vibing with other people there.
Yeah. The after party was a lot of fun, actually. Despite, I know some people kind of have their own
opinions about it.
But for us...
But if you go to a party and don't do anything, then of course that party's going to be boring.
Yeah. But if you go to a party and do stuff, all the amenities that they had, they had little, little twisting areas where you could sit down and take pictures. They had a little circular glam cam thing, but we danced our asses off, Oh, like I said, we danced till about 2 a.m. I will say that DJ for both nights of them after parties was on one. He was straight up
Where the
saying something.
hoes at?
Yeah,
I see you right there. You right there. You a hoe.
like saying some obscene things, man. Talking like you said, D. Talking about where the hoes at? Hey, DreamCon,
I see you dancing, hoe.
come on, hoes. Why you shake that ass, hoes? And then it just get quiet. Like it actually, people be dancing, and then he say something, and be like,
yeah, like I've seen that DJ kill the mood of so many women at the party.
Both nights. The music at the end of the day though was dope though. You know, everybody was still dancing and having the time of their lives there. That's why we stayed out really till like 2 a.m. that first night.
And that is day one, y'all. We are all
I'm not
tired.
Muriel anymore.
Yeah.
Leave right now.
Yeah, y'all got off the clock, Muriel. This was super, super duper fun. Shout out to Dirty Nerdy Birdie. Make sure to follow Dirty Nerdy Birdie. And especially on IG. Yep. Feel free to plug your IG.
Dirty Nerdy Birdie.
Real easy.
And then if it's TikTok that I never use, it's Dirty Nerdy Birdie with an extra Y. But you don't need to know that because I don't use it either.
Sorry, I put you right on the spot. Sorry. Feel free to plug your IG, man.
Yeah, sure. Naya_Hawk829 on IG. Follow the link tree and go everywhere else. I got different names for everything.
Perfect.
I'm on YouTube and Twitch.
Perfect. Make sure to follow the homies. You know what I'm saying? All love to all of y'all. We'll see y'all in the next day. My back hurting, my voice hurting, everything hurts. So I'm starting to feel like Eustace for real.
Got back to the hotel, knocked out. Like we were dead,
completely
and gone.
dead. I slept in my full Muriel get up.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed up a smidget longer to to get into some nighttime gear, get nice and comfortable. And that ultimately drove us into day two.
Good morning, heathens.
Yeah.
It is day 2.
Good morning, cause
I'm feeling aches and pains and groans and moans all over my body.
Out dancing.
Yeah, we was
all night,
all
day and all night.
All day and all night. But you know what though? It was a fun time. It was a fun time. You know,
paying for it now.
Yeah, we paying for it now. We gonna pay for it a little bit more. Because we got a long day ahead of us today too, but
y'all see the shirt, so you know
what's
going on today.
You know what's going on today. You know what I'm saying? We about to get magical up in here. Speaking
of which,
what?
So I have something a little special
here. You showing me your wand? That is so dope.
Yeah.
The silkiness.
Yeah.
That's a little
clean.
yellowish, but okay. It is like super clean.
However, this is mine.
All right.
See, this is actually the official wand of Ravenclaw.
Oh.
And yeah.
Well, who gave you that? You almost put my eye with that thing.
You know, you have shown,
though
I'm a Ravenclaw.
You just waved a gun in my face, basically. But okay.
Even though I'm a Ravenclaw, you know, you have shown exemplary work in
I like that word.
Hufflepuff territory.
Okay.
You know, I may not
exemplary work in Hufflepuff territory.
I may not agree with what you all are about, but you do exhibit those traits.
Are you Toby Rama? I don't like Uchiyas, but you okay?
Y'all up y'all happy go like animals and trees or whatever the fuck.
But
I shall bestow upon you the official wand of Hufflepuff.
The official wand of Hufflepuff. Hold on, let me see that thing.
It's covered. The official wand of the official wand of Hufflepuff.
Oh, you kidding me?
This is the official wand of Hufflepuff.
Y'all, look at the official wand of Hufflepuff. Look at that right there. Oh, look at this
right there.
Look at this official wand of Hufflepuff.
So we about to show up to Dreamcon. Decked out, iced out. You know how we do.
Bust down Wandy Avalanche. Avada Kedavra.
And where I get these from, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You know, I've been around.
Yeah, he got a wand connect. That would be a thing in Hogwarts.
I
though.
do.
You're like, hey, I got the wands for the Lolo.
No, these not for the Lolo.
Oh, all right, they not for the Lolo. Okay, well, thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Let's get going.
It's time to pull up and get your magic on.
Kill somebody.
Yeah, somebody about to get their ass. I'm trying to think of like a magical. I don't want to say Avada Kedavra. I want to kill you, but I do want you to be in pain.
Oh, what's the pain spell?
Well, Crucio, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up and Crucio on your ass.
We went in our Hufflepuff getup, and for the most part, this is kind of when I was talking about like cosplays and how there's different levels of cosplay.
Yeah, there's levels to this.
Like, yeah, this level of cosplay gave us like the perfect amount of like people who didn't want to take pictures with us, but they would acknowledge our existence. They'd be like, Hufflepuff, oh, Ravenclaw, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, there would be people who genuinely was like, oh yeah, like you know what I'm saying? I fuck with it enough to call you out, but I don't fuck with it enough to want to take pictures with you, you know? Cause like, and like, that's like the perfect medium ground. Cause you can like go places, not have to worry about getting stopped. But you also, you know what I'm saying? You also like have that interaction. You have that, you know, the cultural interaction, of people who want to, you know what I'm saying, vibe with you. So there were workshops that we got to do that surprised us. And there were workshops that we got to do that we didn't get to do that surprised us. The workshop that we did get to do that did surprise us in a good way. We got to go to this like Blurred's. It was like Blurred's Blurred's who argue. We spent
Blurred spot. We listen and we do not judge. Anime edition.
Yeah. It was like a Blurred's.
Basically, people give their hot takes.
Yeah.
We did not adhere to that title.
We did not. You know, we listened and we judged our asses off. Everyone did, you know. Like, there was some straight up uproars in that room. And the vast majority of the time, like, the way this was conducted was actually really well, because, like, for the most part, they would start off with like, you know, they started off with their own hot take. And from that hot take, people would like take that and run with it with like a different hot take. And it would just keep going and going and going. And they would just share the mic, you know what I'm saying, amongst the crowd. And the crowd just grew more and more, bigger and bigger and bigger.
That got crazy.
It got crazy. It got loud. And I swear we were here for it.
I hear what everyone is saying. That nigga didn't hold it down for his friends' kids, and that's fine, that's true. But it's a ninja world. We talked about strength. They said he was the strongest of all the Kages, so I got a question for you. How you the strongest of all the Kages, and you struggling against Orochimaru during the Trinity? Facts!
Most of the time, we don't like to sit down and watch people talk. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to sit down and watch people like talk.
We like to be in it.
We like to be in it, a part of it, you know what I'm saying, with some of these things.
Which I will say, you know, comparing to TwitchCon, that's something that TwitchCon is actually lacking. That amount of rowdiness and rambunctiousness, but also respectfulness. Like that level, that they need something for that level of interaction.
I mean, absolutely. But I absolutely will say that that workshop, because it was not a workshop, it was just, I mean, it was just arguing for like an hour and a half. But man, it was so fun to hear those hot takes. At that point, oddly enough, that's actually kind of where the that's where Dreamcon started to take a dive. Well, let's say again, because there were two workshops, well, actually 3 workshops that we were trying to go to next, and they all turned out to be bummers. The first one was this workshop that was supposed to be about fight choreography. So we tried to go to this fight choreography workshop, right? Extremely excited about it. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah, we are fight choreographers.
We are fight choreographers. We've done fight choreography.
We
We're actors, you know what I'm saying? So we were curious about what this fight choreography session is going to be about, right? So we go to this room, completely, new to it. We didn't even know this room was like a room that like existed. You know what I'm saying? So we go to this room, there's a whole bunch of other people there. It doesn't look like a place where you would be hosting.
We're looking around and we're like, there's stuff like it was kind of set up like how we talked about the YouTube Creator Lounge.
Yeah.
Like there's just shit everywhere.
Yes,
we're like this
chairs and tables, and it's like a area where you can take pictures at. We're like, this doesn't look like a workshop for fight choreography, but well, maybe they'll surprise us. Come to find out, that was the wrong room. You know what I'm saying, for this workshop.
Crazy. How does that even happen?
Secondly, the people who were hosting this workshop, they didn't arrive on time. Secondly, when they did get there, like they were like outside talking to some people. They didn't even like actively come into the workshop. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
that I would say they were probably talking to some kind of organizer.
I would hope so.
Because this wasn't the room.
I mean, I would hope so, but like, I will say that when they were talking, because I was looking at them like a hawk at that point. When they were talking to them, they looked so casual. They had there's no sense of urgency in them figuring out what the situation was. And it was only until a little, like, I'll say maybe 10-15 minutes after, like 10-15 minutes after everybody being there, that they actively were saying, hey guys, so there is a major issue here. We're trying to figure it out. Bear with us, be patient. Because I saw the dude, like, I saw him like dapping up people, you know what I'm saying, outside. I'm like, you need to be dapping up with the organizers and figuring this shit out. Seriously, we on the time here. So there's that, right? Eventually, they come to the decision that they want to like move a whole bunch of stuff around the room. So they move the tables around, you know what I'm saying? And, at this point, like, a lot of people are at their wits' end, but we're like, you know what? Let's stick with it. This is a very interesting idea for a class. Let's see what happens, right? So we're like stretching out, you know what I'm saying? We're stretching and, getting limbered up, getting ready for this. And then the icing on the cake, we see one guy who's a part of their team, the instructor's team, say, hey guys, so if you're here, you've either already paid the $75 to be a part of this course, and if you didn't pay, you have to come see me. Either way, make sure you check in with me. And then we'll be able to get into it. And there was definitely some people who was like, huh?
Yeah, a number of problems with that.
Yeah. So
one, we didn't know shit about anything being paid.
There was
like,
not.
Why would you go? Why would you have an event at a conference that you already paid for be paid again?
And why, if it was an event that you had to pay for, why was that not blatantly clear in the app or in anything, even in like the manual pamphlet that said this was a course that you have to pay for, which made me come to the conclusion of one of two things, which I do know the answer to this. One, that was poor decisioning of the venue not letting people know that this was something you had to pay for, or two, it was a completely separate thing, you know, that the venue didn't know about, that the instructors basically was like, you know what, we gonna try to make some money out of this, which is sleazy as hell, you know.
Yep.
Which,
and I just went back to the app to make sure
yeah,
that there isn't anything about
yeah,
payment
paying,
or anything.
yeah,
And there isn't.
There was nothing that
There
said
isn't
that
even
whatsoever.
anything about reservations.
Yeah, nothing about
Like, there's
reservations.
nothing.
Right, you know. And I did some more research post DreamCon. Come to find out, they did upload something on their personal Instagrams, letting everybody know that if you come to DreamCon, come to their workshop, but it is a paid thing. You have to pay $75 for this, which,
So
again,
that's shitty on DreamCon's part.
yeah. But
Like,
I think there's blame on both sides. You know, there's blame on both sides, but also I like, honestly, it rubs me the wrong way that out of all of the workshops that are happening there, because I've been to multiple workshops at multiple conventions, and I've never once had to pay to be at a workshop ever. So
there's no point of it being there if that's the case.
You know, there's no
Like,
point in
go
being
to
it.
fucking...
You know, like, and so, like, I think it's a little bit in poor taste to ask people to pay money. And we're not even asking people, requiring people to pay money to learn at an event that you've already paid for. Like, and on top of that, it's like, you're not even considering the fact that there are people, you know, who are out of towners, people who have probably spent like thousands of dollars to be here.
Already.
Much more than that to be here. And you're gonna try to zap them with even more money, you know? When there's
also like we said, you know, we're trained in this stuff.
Yeah,
there's no way in hell, based on what we've seen, that this class was even worth $75.
Not even close.
Like, no pads, no space, no anything.
Yeah, like, first off, so all in all, y'all, you didn't get the space that you were supposed to get, so you could learn how to properly do fight scenes. You got instructors that more or less kind of couldn't, not to necessarily say that they couldn't care less, but they certainly weren't urgent in fixing the matter. And on top of that, this is something that you had to pay $75 for as a requirement. It wasn't like oh, you know what? If you tip, you know, this is something that it is free, but we would love if you could give us a tip. Doesn't matter how much it is, just if you could pay us something, we would really appreciate it. That I could respect, because at least it's like, okay, this is a workshop, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's in bad taste to ask for a tip, you know? Like, I don't think it's in poor taste to do that, you know? If that's your prerogative. Personally, I wouldn't. I just think, you know, it's like, look, this is a workshop. We're just happy to even be accepted at DreamCon or at any convention, you know? But if you do want to ask for a tip, $1, $2, you know, whatever, sure. But don't make it a requirement. Like, that's way, you're overstepping, you know? To me, that's like you trying to hustle separately from DreamCon, you know? But in any case, that legitimately was like the worst. That was like the worst thing for me at DreamCon, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that workshop, we're done with that rant. Next up was another workshop that was, you know, I ain't gonna call the individual out or anything, but this one was supposed to be about networking. So this event was supposed to be about networking, and it was
Like,
supposed to be
what we came here
right.
to do.
Right. This workshop was supposed to be about networking, and they explicitly say on the app that it is interactive. This is an interactive workshop, where you get to gain tools that help you learn how to collab with other people, how to network with other people, and just creating connections amongst content creators specifically. What do we come to find when we go to this room?
It's just somebody yapping.
Yeah, somebody we see somebody talking all about their journey, which, I mean, to their credit, sure, but if you're going to do that, make it a panel. Make it a panel.
Yeah.
Make it something that's like, I'm just here to talk about my experience and why networking is great. Instead of saying this is an interactive workshop where you get to do things with other content creators and build connections. Because that's not what was advertised.
Wasn't a lot about networking also.
Not at all. There was barely any talks about networking. A lot of it was just about like, oh, this is what, if you're a streamer, you should do these things to be a good streamer. That barely anything
ad nauseum.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Which again, this is no shade to the creator who was hosting it. Like, she seems dope actually.
Yeah. Like she seems cool.
She seems cool to talk to.
Yeah, she seems cool. And she was given a couple of nuggets of like information. But again, like there was nothing interactive or networking and connections and workshop related that was active based off of what was advertised, so yeah, needless to say, we didn't do that one, or we stayed in there for like 10 minutes and then left, and then there was a Star Wars lightsaber training thing that we wanted to go to, but the line was extremely long. The line was extremely long.
Out the door.
The line was out the door for that. And then when we peeped in, we saw things that were so basic that we was like, we know this actually.
Yeah,
we already know, we already know like guards and parries and slashes and thrusts. Like that, from what we were seeing, that's what they were teaching, and we're like, this is just basic sword fighting techniques. Okay, we're good. You know what I'm saying? Let our spaces be occupied by someone who actively wants to learn sword fighting.
Yeah.
So ultimately,
day 2 was a lot of bust.
Yeah, day 2s were a lot of busts. I mean, we went to the YouTube Creator Lounge again, played some FIFA with some people, networked. And that ultimately was what we ended up doing. Like, we fought in the pit again. We did another fight, which that was also fun. Ravenclaw versus Hufflepuff. All right, let's go. I'm gonna buy that Hey, I'm on that Hufflepuff game. Yeah, you know what it is. There were some people that we did meet day 2. We got to meet In the Clutch Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? They're another duo channel. You know what I'm saying? Been watching them for a while, and we're glad we got to meet them. They're really, really dope people. You know what I'm saying? Dub and Ross. Shout out to In the Clutch Entertainment. And there was another person that you got to meet, D. I forgot their name though.
Yeah, I got to meet Your Bud Tev.
Yeah, Your Bud Tev.
He's known for his drinking games. We talked a bit about that. But yeah, we got to meet some people that we actually actively watch. I'm sure there were like so many other more famous people there that we just have no idea who they are.
Yeah. Had no idea who they are, but we like, okay. Glad you're here. We also did get like a closer view of the wrestling ring. You know what I'm saying? Like there was literally a point where like we were standing ringside, well, not like ringside, like kind of further back, and like D was just criticizing the people who were going in there, in like wrestling. It was hilarious. He was so critical.
Okay, he's teaching him how to sit on the bottom row.
How do you know exactly what he's saying?
Because that's what he's showing him. Okay, that third step at the end is gonna mess you up. It's gonna hold your momentum. Okay, that's what he's telling him. Okay. I don't know what that is. Also, he needs to be reaching out that hand before he gets to the rope so he can grab it, get it, sit on the rope, bounce back. Bounce on the rope, you want to get both feet, boom, come back.
Another thing that we did was we played Coop. We played Coop with this like completely different group of people. None of them were like content creators or anything. They was just, like just cool regulars, you know what I'm saying? And it was so fun.
It was so much fun. Then we played Settlers of Catan, and that wasn't as fun.
That got ruthless. That got ruthless. Like, bro, like it was
still fun, y'all.
Yeah,
but
it was
God
fun.
Damn,
it was fun, but Catan is ruthless,
against
bro.
Us.
Yeah, like it turned into such a like monopoly effect of like the 1% versus the 99%, and it was
But those dudes
weird.
were dope.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got to connect with them.
Yeah, shout out to the boys. We went to the after party a second time, stood in that after party line again as we did previously, but that time I stood in that premium. I stood in that premium line. Like I did not care. I was just like, let me get my wristband. I don't even care. They gave me the wristband. We went to the after party. And we danced again. This time though, we didn't stay till like it shut down. Got to the bus, got back home, slept, and that ultimately was like the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Well, y'all, that is it for Dreamcon to Saturday. What are your thoughts on today?
Not as great as yesterday.
Yeah, not as great as yesterday. I'm just gonna be honest with you. All right. Honestly, there was a lot of twists and turns. Stuff that we just didn't expect to be what they were. We'll probably talk in more detail about that later. Sorry, I'm like swapping y'all over. But just not what we expected. You know what I'm saying? Not even the after party was like what we expected, truth be told.
Yeah.
But we're still glad we popped out. Like it was still a fun time. It's just not what we expected.
Everywhere Fireplays goes is gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, say that one more time.
So everywhere Fireplays goes is gonna be a fun time.
You're damn right.
Day 3.
Hello everyone. It is last day at DreamCon. It has certainly been a journey. And I'll be honest, I'm really hoping today is like kind of chill, which it will be, but I also hope that it's like overall better than yesterday. And in my honest opinion, you know what I'm saying? There was a couple of few disappointments, that we've had from yesterday, but I'm really hoping that like today, is chill, and it's just a little bit more of like a just like a not like eventful, but just like being able to hang out with more people. And it's like and it's less. I would actually prefer if it's less about workshops. Well, it's true though. And yes, my voice sounds hoarse as hell because the party last night. Yeah, we was. Oh, that's all.
I don't think you did.
I did. We can go now. Thanks, Dad. But nah, we about to get into it, y'all. So we'll see y'all inside.
We decided, this on this third day to wear our, regular Fireplays. You know what I'm saying? Drip out. You know what I'm saying?
Head to toe. Y'all should have seen them. We was clean in a bitch.
We was dripped out, dipped in butter. You know what I'm saying? It was clean and pristine. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all get some Fireplays merch. We should have took more pictures in those bits. We should have. But you know what? It's all good. We got plenty of pictures and some Fireplays gear anyway. So, You know what I'm saying? We took the bus to DreamCon, which, you know, still highly recommended to take buses to DreamCon. But this time we decided to go much earlier than we normally would. Like, we were normally trying to go to DreamCon during like kind of like midday-ish times, because that's when
whatever like the first event was happening,
right, which would be like around 12 or 1 o'clock or something. But this time we actually got to DreamCon at like maybe 10. You know, we went to the tabletop room and we played this games called like Handy Chef or Handy Kitchen, Handy something. And man, it was so fun. You know, it was like a little card game. You got to like create these different recipes. It's like,
which again, luck was not my favorite again.
Yeah.
Luck was not my favorite this entire time.
Yeah.
Like, if I told y'all everything that happened, y'all would be like, "Damn, did somebody curse you?"
Yeah, it was definitely some weird juju going on with 1D's side. But yeah, we played that for a while, probably for a couple of hours, honestly, before we did the next thing, which was they called it like the Drums of Liberation. But this was supposed to be a stepping event, like, you know, the stepping workshop, you know what I'm saying, the little whatever, right? This instructor was probably hung over out of her mind, you know what I'm saying? She was struggling. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and the music was so out of beat and random, like it was like this weird
but
remix.
She did say it wasn't the original music. I'll give her that much.
I mean, I'll give her that much, but also you sure you couldn't find a better thing? I mean, but even her instructions was just so like,
she's like, y'all could do this,
do what you
y'all
want
do
with
whatever,
that one.
just do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, as long as you want to be, you know what I'm saying? That's all that matters. But needless to say, though, we did do our stuff, you know what I'm saying? We were stepping, you know what I'm saying? We were stepping, you know, we were some heavy steppers in there, big steppers, you know? But after that, there was Wholesome Hot Takes. So it was another event, you know, not a workshop, but another event where you could go in and just riff about certain anime, certain characters. That was another fun thing, you know, literally like damn near the exact same thing like the previous one, where it's just, you know, it's a hot take, everybody's debating, everybody's like reacting to certain people's tastes. It was a fun time. We went back to the YouTube lounge, and at that point, for the most part, like most of the events were already over. At that point, they were giving out free merch, so we got to, you know, get like some hoodies and some things. We played a little, you know, we played a little bit more, couple of games. There's that shirt right there. And at one point, we got they actually, the DJ started like really, you know, cooking with the music. So like I started dancing on stage.
We go back to dancing.
Yeah, we went back to dancing. I started dancing on stage. And after a while, other people started like joining, and eventually we just created a circle. And for like probably a solid 20 minutes, there was just a whole bunch of content creators dancing with each other. And I'm like, I'd like to think that we started that. So I'm like, you know what, sure. Literally, one of the security guards pulled me aside, and I thought they were gonna like kick me out or something. And it was just like, you are an excellent dancer. keep going. I'm like, okay.
Keep going. This is your destiny.
I'm like, are you from the future telling me something? I don't understand. But
if you stop dancing, the world dies.
yeah, if you stop dancing, you die. But no, we did that, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much after the YouTube Creator Lounge, we just decided to leave. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too much left for us to do there, really. So we left, we left out, and there was this big speculation of like, what were we gonna do after the convention was over, and because it ended earlier than normally. There were some people who were like gonna stay till like 6, and
which also, I'll say, kind of a, I don't want to say the S word, but I ain't got no better word right now. Kind of a scam if you get 3-day tickets, because Sunday's
like nothing.
Like it's a half day.
Yeah,
you just pay half a ticket for Sunday,
and it was dead as hell all throughout.
Yeah,
most people were either hungover or just didn't even show up. You know, we went to this like Putt Putt. We went to this like Putt Putt area where
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, oddly enough, the activity was a highlight. You know what I'm saying? We got to play some Putt Putt. The course was really interactive. You know, there was like bonus points you could win. There were minus points. Like the courses were really
I had never gone mini golfing before.
Yeah,
so
and honestly, for that to be your first experience is like solid. That's a solid memory you should hold on to. Needless to say, you know what I'm saying, you can imagine who won and who lost on that one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, baby. After that, we ate there. Meh food.
Not great. Yeah.
Yeah. And another reason why I wanted to talk about like after convention stuff is because apparently there were also so many people who were trying to go to this like pool party that was happening after, and of course you can guess a lot of the reason why is because Duke Dennis and A&P and all these different content creators were trying to go there. And at this point, I'm like, I'm peopled out right now. I'm like, let's just do this pup.
We were done. There was so much wrong with the con that tapped us out. There was so much, just been around a lot of people for a lot of days.
A lot of people, a lot of days,
also,
a lot of germs.
Been dancing the whole weekend.
Yeah,
was just tapped out.
Like we were tired. We are tired, mind, body, and soul. And ultimately, when I got back, I knocked out. Like I knocked out. Woke up at like 10 p.m. Talked to my partner for a while, and then knocked out again. And that was my night. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much after that, we woke up the next morning. Went back to the airport, and honestly, that was the journey.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. All in all, I would say that like if I had to put this DreamCon on a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being the devil's work, the absolute worst thing ever, and 10 being the goat of goats of cons, I would probably put this at a 6 in my book. It's a little over mid, but just by a little bit. It was because of the people and the experiences the things we got to experience with people specifically that made the convention tolerable. But
which is why I place it at a 7 for me. Strictly because of the people.
Yeah. Like the people.
If I was ranking this con itself, man.
Yeah, it wouldn't be quite so nice. I'll be honest with you. So from our perspective as content creators, I would say that it's a great place to go if you're looking to meet people, content creators or no. But if you are going to be a content creator and you go to this event, come with a plan. Come with a plan. But also, no. Well, that's what I'm going to say. Come with a plan, but also be prepared to adapt. Be prepared to adapt and be prepared for whatever things you were planning on going to not quite go the way you expect. You know, you may have to make your own fun. You may have to make your own opportunities. Just know that. If you're not a content creator, the whole convention is kind of your oyster, you know? If you're not a content creator and you're there to just like vibe out with other people, there are tons of things for you to do. You know what I'm saying? But you know, for content creators in particular, you know, might not be the best convention to go to, but I would still recommend someone to go at least once, you know. I think I do think this is a convention that content creators should go to at least once to experience it and make a decision of their own if they think it's worth it from there, you know? Because I almost guarantee you, well, not even almost, I could guarantee you that there would be a difference in our experience if we didn't have access to the YouTube Creator Lounge. Like that YouTube Creator Lounge absolutely was
that saved a lot.
That saved a lot of our that helped a lot with our scaling and our ranking of Dreamcon. All in all, I think definitely better organization, honestly, just across the board. Way better organization. Definitely redesign that app. And for content creators in particular, add more workshops that are actively interactive, you know, you know, and that just allow for more true networking opportunities between content creators that don't have to involve the YouTube Creator Lounge. Twitch does that and does it flawlessly, you know. And I think the same really should be said for Dreamcon. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's just our opinion. That's just our experience. You know, you can make whatever type of, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody's going to agree with this opinion. You know, this is just from what our experience is and from what we believe to be, what it is. So, you know what I'm saying? I hope, with that being said, thank you guys so much for even making it this long through the video. If you did go to Dreamcon, let us know what your experience was like. You know, maybe you can summarize it.
I've seen a lot of opinions on Dreamcon.
Yeah.
Some not so different than ours.
Yeah.
So
you know, we're looking through them Reddits and through them different posts. So, you know what I'm saying? I know there's a very polarizing Dreamcon. You know, but oddly enough, I see a lot of media saying that it was a good one. But again, you know, there's media and then there's the vote of the people who actually win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? On that note, thank you guys again. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications on all the videos. You know what I'm saying? Leave a comment. Again, let us know what your Dreamcon experience was like. Let us know what your
let us know if you'll be there next year.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And the folks who did go to Dreamcon, you know what I'm saying? Let us know like what y'all on. You know what I'm saying? You know, we met a lot of people there, so you know what I'm saying? Let us know what y'all on. What was y'all takeaway from Dreamcon? Especially if you're a content creator. Like, let us know what your experience was like being a content creator coming to this. Yeah, make sure to tune in for the next video, all right? Peace out for now, everybody.
Yeah.